I'm Patricia. You know me as PDina on YouTube. Hello.
Hello, this is Paula. You know me as PaulaM on YouTube. And thank you for coming to Truly. It's going to be truly awesome.
Thank you so much for being the first interviewees for our Truly show. Rod and me are just so happy that you both agreed to do this. And, you know, we've been brainstorming before this call, and certainly even this idea of talking to you guys came up from our chats. So there's just so much richness in what you share with me in our previous call. So I'm grateful for that. And we're just really excited that we're doing this.
We are too. I know I am excited to be here and to talk, and everything is growing. My whole world around this experience is really becoming more nurtured.
I just want to give a bit of an introduction to all your followers. So what we're doing here today is Truly is an app where we want to facilitate everyone with what they know to be accessible by everybody else whom they could help. So it's as simple as any experiences that I have lived through, that Rod has lived through, the kind of knowledge that you both have from everything that you've studied and experienced, travels, everything, you as a person, as a whole person. This is something that we really believe has value for anybody who is seeking advice within the specific things that you are able to advise them on. And so the app is as easy as you creating these hashtags that really define you and everything about you, and people being able to find you and ask you questions and immediately compensate you. It's as simple and streamlined as that. And we're really grateful to be able to interview creators such as both of you, also because we really believe that your followers are going to appreciate being able to interact with you on the Truly app and asking you really specific questions that they know that you'll be able to answer. So thank you guys for being on this interview to further talk about that later on.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so what I think we should start with is, and I think what your followers might have not even known about you, because when you both are on your videos, you go straight into the subject and really cover Meghan Markle, British royalty. And so when I am watching your videos, what I'm always wondering is actually, who are you? What's the background story, and what had motivated you to start the channel, and just the more personal aspects of yourselves, because the content that you share on your videos is just so informative that it's like when you read a great book and you're curious about the author, so I think it would be great for your followers to just get to know a bit of Patricia and Paula and the backstory. And if you both could talk about that, like what attracted you to even start a YouTube channel? Was it just feeling like this is something you really wanted to express to the world about the subject that you talk about? So yeah, if Patricia, you could start.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was watching a lot that had been going on with the the coming marriage of Harry and Meghan, and I found it very interesting. And for me, being a big Princess Diana fan, and then after she had passed away, things kind of died down for me, and it just wasn't much interest in the royal family anymore. It was just really a sad time that Diana was no longer around. And so when I saw Harry getting ready to get married, and this was a new royal, generation that was going to maybe, pique my interest again, I started to perk up and pay attention. And then I heard that Harry had sent out some press release because his soon-to-be wife or girlfriend at the time was getting a lot of like, there's a lot of racism. And I thought, well, that's just terrible, you know, and I never knew what she looked like. It's just, I would just hear about him, you know, his girlfriend and everything. And then finally, when I saw what she looked like, I was like, oh, well, she doesn't look black at all to me. I just was very curious about her background then, since he, you know, Harry had put up this notice about, you know, leave his girlfriend alone. And I just wanted to get involved in following the royal family again. And then things started to happen with this relationship that just did not click. And me, I'm an educator, I teach young kids life skills, really important skills, and showing appreciation for global awareness, because we all come from different backgrounds. And oh my goodness, we all come from different backgrounds. And I wanted my kids to see how culturally they are connected to other people in the world. So I had this interest in international relations already. And then to find out that Harry's girlfriend was American, she was like part Black. I mean, there's so many similarities. It's just like, and then things started to unravel. And then I started following people that would talk about their relationship and how she would do things that were not good. And so as an educator, you see someone behaving badly on the world stage, and then you can relate to them because they're like you, and because, you know, she's also an actor and I'm an actor. So it's just like a lot of things came together. And I had to have a voice. I felt like I did not have a voice to speak out about the things that I saw that were going wrong in this relationship. And then when I saw the wedding, oh my goodness, when she came down in that veil and that white dress, I was like, okay, you know what? It's time to start the YouTube channel. And it's time to officially make my voice heard. And that's how I got started with the YouTube channel, because I wanted it to be a teaching moment, a moment to grow from her bad behavior, because I literally could see this progressing into one bad choice after another, because it just had the markings of that. It just seemed like this was going to be drama filled all the way. Yeah. And I was right. And I'm glad that I started my channel when I did, because so much has come out that I've been able to speak out about, that people have reached out to me and they can see the undertone of what I'm communicating in character and your choices, and being able to relate that to what I already do as an educator and teaching underserved youth. There had to be a connection. I didn't want to just randomly start a channel and bash this woman. It had to have purpose. It had to have a meaning to grow from, something to grow from. And I wanted my voice to be heard. And this is why I started it. And also because I'm an actor, I love being in front of the camera. I thought, you know, I can make this teachable in a funny way. I can be a little sarcastic about it. I had room to be very creative with it. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I want to become more creative with it, because I'm really now just starting to find my voice and getting my videos down to, you know, really like get in, get out. Like before, I just yabbed on forever. It was just like no structure.
How long has it been? How long have you had the channel?
Since right when the pandemic happened, I started it, because it was after the wedding. And then I started the channel like right when the pandemic happened, because then I had the time.
Yeah.
And that's when, because everything shut down. So I was at home making videos, and that's how I got started. And that's where my passion.
Were you focused on the engagement that you were receiving, or were you more focused on, I just want to say what I need to say, and you weren't really concerned about whether people were watching or not?
Oh, I was really focused on the engagement, because that is how I was able to really like answer questions and get feedback about myself and the things I was speaking about and what I was saying. Because sometimes I would get things wrong, when, you know, occasionally I've gotten things wrong. Yeah, because I'm not British. I don't know a lot about the monarchy. And this is why I connect so well with Paula, because this is her life in terms of she's a part of the Commonwealth, right? So she really has the backside information on how all this works. I just have the front side. Oh, isn't that pretty? It's a royal family. Oh, they do this, they do that. But she knows everything about like the laws and their traditions, and why this royal family means so much to people like herself. Because I remember, Paula, when we were speaking, you were saying you would die for the queen. And
absolutely, and take a bullet for her.
Well, yeah, you take a bullet for her. I was like, really? Is that serious? You know, if it came down to it.
Absolutely, she's my queen. Absolutely, I may criticize the institution and I may criticize her choices or lack of, but she is my queen. She is the head of state, and this lady deserves enormous respect.
So let's say from so Patricia, in your journey of creating these videos, you somehow discovered Paula's channel.
Yeah.
And so Paula, if you could give us a bit of the similar background. So what made you start the channel, and what motivated you? What was the trajectory?
Well, to tell you the truth, after I posted those 2 tweets, to begin with, I'm dyslexic. So for me, writing a tweet, and I didn't understand Twitter. My son had opened the account for me years ago, and I thought I never learned how to use it. And then one of the few times, the only times that I actually got on there, and I started tweeting, and I said, why is that woman? Why is Oprah there? This woman, I remember I wrote something like, I heard her father's dying. Shouldn't she be over there? You know, I would have canceled that wedding and would have gone to see my father, you know, especially when I had already seen how she spoke so highly of him, you know, and then and so
tweeted, and then it wasn't enough.
And then I said, yeah, and then I followed that tweet, you know, like you could add things to it. And then I said, as soon as she has that certificate, she's going to get the hell out of the royal family. She's going to trash everybody, and she's going to go. And then I asked, isn't anybody at all wondering why none of her family is there? Am I the only one who sees that nobody's there? And I remember thinking, why do they keep saying she's a Hollywood star? Because, you know, that's the first thing you Google. Nowadays with Google, you Google Hollywood star. And, you know, when you say a Hollywood star, it's a Hollywood star. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I remember after Googling that she was in something called Suits, and I had to Google where Suits was because it wasn't even on mainstream. It was on Netflix. And it's like, I didn't understand it. But after I was trashed so badly, I mean, and this is, I even said
on Twitter.
On Twitter. Yeah. And I mean, you should have seen, I mean, this is from an account that I had like 5 followers, but I typed her name, right? And these followers were my buddies. So I had at least, I'm not joking, over, I think it was 500, 600 comments that I was a racist, that I was this, that I was that. I was like, oh my God, on Twitter. So that scared me off. And then I remember reading these things and seeing these things that were not the norm. For example, when the child was born that nobody knew, it was the first time that the royal family got that detail, and they didn't post the signatures of the doctors testifying that they had pulled, you know, that they have witnessed the birth, because that is the norm. That the queen did it, everybody's done it, but where was hers? And the time was wrong. And Portland hospitals, they wouldn't give the name of the doctors. There were a lot of break in protocols, because there's a reason why those rules were there for that, because there was fraud committed by the royals. So in order to prevent that, that was that protocol. Because
so you know all this, but you were no longer on Twitter. And
I was on Twitter, but I wasn't tweeting anymore. So when COVID came out, and I remember I was alone with my son. My son is a teenager, you know, who's into computers, and of course he didn't, and I didn't have time to talk to anybody. And being in Norway, the time difference, it made it almost very hard. And my friends don't care really, you know. I remember, I don't know if you've seen my first video. I mean, I was lying on the couch and I was like, I just needed to talk to somebody to see, because I thought, am I the only one seeing that this woman? And I remember if you go to my first videos, I remember a voice saying, this woman is gonna run. Why aren't you guys asking these questions? Am I the only one, you know? And I remember I was scared of asking it. But for me, and you know, I've seen all these YouTubers, they have like makeup and they have like this lights and they have these things. I don't have any of that. technology is not my friend. So I figure, I hope I can reach somebody who can answer me back, you know, and say, no, you're not crazy.
And what
So,
happened? Is that what happened? You
no,
posted?
I forgot about it. I just posted, and then my son said, Mom, you have a YouTube account that I opened for you years ago in 2011 or something. And I said, so what do I do with that? And then he told me, I have my games. I put my games on it. And I said, so people answer to you? And he goes, yeah, you know, I have my buddies, you know. So I said, maybe, you know, somebody, I don't know. I just wanted to voice it because with my son, he gets bored. He tell me, Mom, I don't want to talk about that, you know, and I respect that.
You have
And it made me because, you know, I listen endlessly his conversations about, I don't know, the gamer and Minecraft, and I listen to it like I'm interested, you know. So I said to him, why don't you give me, but he's a teenager, he doesn't care, to be polite, you know. So when I did that, I remember I forgot it. I just felt good saying it, you know, and I forgot about it. And then I remember went back to I kept getting these red things on my phone, and it's notifications from YouTube. And I said to my son, what is that? And then he looks, Mom, they're commenting. And I'm like, who? And people were very polite. So I found a way, and then he taught me how to answer, you know, because you can answer the comments.
Yeah.
And I said, I can answer. And he goes, yeah, you can answer. So I felt like I could have a conversation with people, you know, and that I wasn't crazy about it, you know, and so that's really, and because I'm dyslexic, it's a better, I mean, I can read, of course, and write, but it's more difficult for me, you know. So it's such a nice medium for me to just talk. And
Yeah.
if anybody's out there listening, great, you know. To my surprise, a lot of people, you know, started getting people thought I didn't know they could follow me. They were following me, and I'm like, oh my God, you know.
So
Even my sister,
is that how Patricia reached out to you? Who reached out to who? How do you guys?
I was a fan of Patricia's. I was a very big fan of her.
Yeah,
And
I
she
saw her all the time, Paula. I would see her on my lives. I would see this woman always commenting and very, very engaged. Paula was very engaged in the things I was saying, and she would tweet. And then you made a donation, like you made a donation to my super chat or something. And then I saw you had a channel, and then I started following you. And then something had came up in with the Markles. I don't remember what it was, but then I saw you on Twitter, and I had asked you a question on Twitter. And then from there, we started privately like going back and forth, and then, you know, talking more from that. Yeah.
And do you feel that you both influence each of your content, because both of you have such unique perspectives on the same subject, right? So do you feel that, you know, like, for example, Paula, after you watch Patricia's post, it gives you, like, it influences the post that you create, and vice versa for you, Patricia?
I do, because I know that Paula knows a lot about, like I said before, that she's a part of the Commonwealth. So she really sees the angle that I don't see. And that is the connection to the monarchy as a citizen, or as a subject. I think that's what you are, right? So that is interesting for me to see, because I don't see that side of it. And then for you, Paula, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but as a Black woman, and Meghan is considered a Black woman, whether people want to say it or not, she is. And so I'm giving a perspective that Paula doesn't see, or you know, really knows as well. So I think we complement each other on our content, and I definitely watch her videos and see what she's up to, and vice versa.
And so in terms, just going back with what you were saying, that you were really responsive to the feedback you get from your followers, especially initially. So could you just
initially,
yeah, like, how was that for you? Did you
that was crazy
to change the content to please them? Like, what was that like?
I don't know that I started to change it, but, well, I remember I got a lot of criticism for trying to speak in a British accent, and I love doing it because it's fun, it's silly. So I kind of cut back on doing that as much, but when it warrants it, I'll still do it, you know, but I just don't do it as much. But it did kind of change, you know, I started to speak more about the things that people wanted to know about, because that I wanted to fuel their curiosity about what my thoughts were about what they wanted to know. And then the more and more people started responding, it becomes a lot. And now I don't even really have the time, and I feel so bad to even answer a lot of the emails that I get. But I like that engagement because it allows you to understand where people are from and what they're thinking and who the people are that are watching you. I'm so shocked at the people that watch my channel from Nova Scotia and Australia and these far, far away places, that it's mind-boggling to me. And I love that connection to people who are different than me, because I think diversity and inclusion with other people that are different from you is important, especially to our societies for getting along. And we're all different people, but we have a common interest in something that is going horribly wrong in the world right now, and we know what it is, right?
Yeah, and Paula, what about you? How was it with these comments? Were you finding that you were happy to respond to them, and your content was responding to what the questions they had for you?
Well, I'll tell you something. For me, to tell you the truth, I wasn't even thinking about that. I mean, after I did my first, I just wanted to have a platform, to have somebody. I was happy to have a platform, the YouTube thing, that I could say something to somebody. And I remember I got like 2 or 3 comments. I was exhilarated. I was like, awesome. And they think of like I do. So it helped me talk more about how I was feeling. So if you look at my videos there, I don't edit. I won't even know where to edit. You know what I mean? So this is why you see me talking, and you've seen them. So for me, I liked it. I liked it because I didn't feel alone. Even the hateful comments, I didn't feel alone, so because then I would go, what do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you mean you don't like this? What do you mean by that? No, delete. And then it took me a long time to find out. I still don't know how to remove the comments. You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody, one of the other YouTube creators, and I go, did you see that comment? It was really disrespectful to the Queen. Oh, and I'm like, how dare she? I was so angry, and I reached out to one of the YouTubers, and I said, can you please help me? Because apparently you can put moderate words that when people say that, I mean, oh, I was so angry, and so she taught me how to do that. So that kind of language cannot be used against my Queen. But no, for me, I was happy because, during COVID, I was alone with my kid, a teenager, and he was in his world. I had nobody to talk to. My friends really don't care. So I was alone, and so when these people were, but, I didn't and then it started growing more and more. I remember.
Yeah, so tell us the trajectory of that. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I swear to you, I went to sleep one night. I had like 200 followers. I was exhilarated that I had followers. I had like 200 followers. And I remember my son even came and said, Mom, and I remember we went out to eat dinner because we had 200 followers, Mom. And then I kid you not, I went to bed and I woke up the next day. I did a video. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was, I was crying over Prince Philip's death or something like that. I was literally bawling my eyes out, crying over Prince Philip's death. And then
the next day
I woke up. And I was criticizing Harry for doing what he did to his grandpa while he was dying. I still get angry about that and emotional. And I literally, I'm not joking, I woke up and I had 9,000 some hundred followers. And I didn't even pay attention to the number of followers, right? Because I wasn't looking at the followers or anything. My son is the one who told me, holy mama, holy crap, I mean, you did you see how many, he was following how many followers I had, not me. And then he goes, you have almost 10,000 followers. And I said, that can't be right. I said, and I was worried I had done something wrong, because I said, maybe somebody screwed around or something like that. Yeah. And then, yeah, I tell you the truth, I really don't know. And then it doesn't change how I talk about things. It doesn't change about how, I remember I got an email when I hit 10,000 from YouTube. And then it said that I could monetize. I didn't do it for the longest time. I think I did it about Pat, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago that I did it. And then,
right.
Yeah, because I remember I was telling you, I was talking to you about it. And I said to you, And then my people, my viewers said, "Oh, you're making money." I'm like wondering, how the hell am I gonna make money of this? You know, because I didn't know. And then I said, I'm not making money. Where do I make money? You know, and my son also, because my son only has like 100 followers or so he didn't get that email. So and then they talked about merchandise. And I said, what the hell is that? So I said, no, I just want to talk to these people. And then it just started getting a lot of abusive emails.
Yeah.
From people, incredibly abusive. And when I tell you that these people are abusive, they are incredibly abusive. They even
But
so
obviously the 9,000 that was added overnight, I mean, these are people who resonated with that video, which you were.
and guess what? Most of them are from the US.
Yeah, so they agreed. I mean, these must be people who agreed.
Yeah. I got so many comments, you know, because I remember, you know, I'm an ugly crier. You know, I don't cry well. You know, my nose gets really red, like Pinocchio. You know, like it's really it's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know, it's like so. I was like, how dare she? And I was like, and I said, I didn't know I could pause the video, you know, and then restart it. I just can't, and I kept just going like, and then I started going, I said, how dare he, what a jerk, you know, and I was just like so angry, you know, I was so angry, and I guess people reacted to that, you know, I was angry, crying, respecting my queen, and how dare he, you know, it's like, it was a terrible day for me. I cried for days.
What I'm getting here is that we actually have two examples, you know, like Patricia, I feel that you basically have some kind of approach to creating the content, even the graphics, you know, and Paula is another example of just going in there, plunging in with everything she has to say and pretty much leaving it at that. And Patricia, if you can talk about what's that process like? Like, did you find a formula where, okay, now I got this, like I know how to do the titles, and these are, yeah, what was that?
I was always good at that because in my working within my business, I have videos that I would do for my company. I never did them for myself like this, but I already had that experience. And as an actor, I have, you know, like I've done demo reels, I've done a lot of editing, I've done documentaries when I was in college. So I have a lot of media experience already. And I've always been like a tech person. So that was the easy part. But then when I first started my channel, I was overly doing it. Like I was putting in a lot of sound effects, and
I love
like,
it.
you know, people were like, you don't need to do that. We just want to hear you talk. I'm like, really? It's like,
I love it.
You just want to hear me talk? You don't want the sound effects, the fun stuff? They were like, no. I was like, okay, well, people like what I have to say. So I didn't have to embellish my videos to be really engaging, because they thought my voice and what I had to say was enough. And that really surprised me. But right now I have it down with my editing. I even have someone helping me now because I just don't have the time, because like I said, I do work full time, and this is taking up so much more of my time. And every penny that I do make from my channel goes to support the work that I do with kids. I don't make money from this personally, but my business does, because that is where I feel this money could really have the broader support, is to help these young kids.
Well, could you give us a bit of your background? So we know that you're in Ohio.
I'm in Ohio. Yes. I have 2 children. I'm married. I'm remarried. My husband is in education. I lived all over the world before I was married. I taught acting. I lived in LA. I did the Hollywood thing that Meghan was doing. I see how what she did in terms of trying to get the right husband to get the opportunities, because it's really hard to break into that industry. And there's a lot of things you have to do with socializing and meeting people. There's a lot of things that you need to do to cultivate a relation, or to be a working actor, that I just did not have the knack to do. And it wasn't so important to me anymore. And so I finally left LA and I moved to Europe, and I taught English, and I did things that were important to me. I worked with kids. I felt like I wanted to do something that had substance. I mean, I had some success. It was really weird because when I left LA, I had the most success in my acting career the year I left. And that's when I knew it was okay to leave, because it just didn't do it for me. It didn't, finally, when I got to where I wanted to be as an actor or have those experiences, it just didn't, it fulfilled me. But I still enjoyed it because I saw the underworkings of Hollywood, like from a real perspective. And I can see how Meghan, and that's how I knew who she was from the beginning. As an actor, I'm like, I got you figured out, girl. I know where you're coming from. So for me, leaving to go live outside of LA and to have these experiences was really meaningful. It changed my life. I went to college. I got a master's degree. I started a business. I have a charity. And I love what I do now because it is something that is going to impact kids that are underserved to have these global experiences and to connect with people like what we're doing with YouTube, and to connect with creators and to see that your world is not limited to where you live. We have so many connections to the world, and a lot of these underserved youth don't know that, especially when you're a minority. You feel like that's for the people that are more established or wealthy, those who have the connections. I want to be that portal for a lot of people. So I'm just doing what I love to do, and you know, with young people, and also running my channel to have those global experiences.
Well, and you've got these like very special perspectives, having been this you know, like trying to be an actress in Hollywood, and then you were also in the UK, so you have that context of the British monarchy somewhat, and so that those are two really helpful experiences that inform the content that you have. And
yes, because you see things from an American perspective, and then when you get abroad and you think, wow, they're like me, but they do things differently. They're really different over here. They speak differently. They do business differently. I worked as an assistant for a few people when I lived over there, and just the whole mindset was fascinating. And for the first time, I was able to see myself as an American, like through a window, because I was the foreigner now in these foreign countries. And I was just fascinated with how things were done abroad, because in America, you are taught this is the greatest country in the whole world. Those people in those foreign countries, you know, we don't pay attention to them because we got to pay attention to how we are the greatest, you know, country in the world. And I think there's not enough education put on learning about other cultures. And so that's why I love talking about the things that are happening abroad, especially like with Meghan as an American, how she's made so many mistakes with how she's been behaving in this foreign country. You just don't do a lot of those things.
And you see the missed opportunities, and we'll go deeper into it. But Paula, so I think we haven't really discussed why you would take a bullet for the Queen. And you were born in.
I was actually born in Central America. My father was Canadian. My mother was also born in Central America, but all of my grandparents they were not from Central America, but I find myself, I'm from Nicaragua, you know what I mean? I was born in Nicaragua, and my father was born in Canada, but my grandfather was from Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia no longer exists. So it would be, our family's from Montenegro, Centine, on my father's side. And he had his father, and my grandmother was French. And the same thing for my mother, you know, my grandmother was from Spain and my grandfather was from Lebanon. But I was born there. I've lived in Canada, I lived in Brussels, I've lived in London for years, I lived in Norway and Spain. I mean, in many places.
Where is this loyalty to the Queen coming from? Did you spend your life?
I'm Canadian, and you know, when you're Canadian, you're taught, you know, you go to school and you know, it's like your president, but being a queen is more than a president, because this is not something, you know, this is our head of state, but this is a queen. It's not like a president, like a politician that goes every 4 years or so, you know what I mean? This is a figure that is supposed to be above politics, and it's supposed to be, this is why the monarch is respected, because it's supposed to be above politics and to reach places where politicians fail, because she's above politics.
Mhm.
So people feel safe to come and talk to her. She can represent us well, and like people who are dictators would kill to be with the monarch. You know what I've said, and I had this conversation with somebody, and I'm not joking, I may be exaggerating, but I can guarantee you, do you want China to really compromise and stop building the coal things? Just promise them that the queen will go to China and shake hands with that guy. I'm not joking. I can guarantee you that the Chinese, he would give anything to have like the queen come to China, and he can brag saying the Queen of England is here.
Mhm.
So the queen is effective, and the respect comes from the fact that she's above things that, because when you're above politics, when she doesn't have to worry about being elected, it's an amazing position. She doesn't have to worry about being elected, but at the same time, she's impartial. So
Well,
she
also, and these details are something that probably most Americans are completely ignorant of, right? Because the whole country is founded on democracy, and the Mayflower was all about just leaving all that behind. And yet, with this whole Meghan Markle story, we're seeing the value of having this figurehead above politics, and I think this is why this story is just so fascinating, because it's like highbrow and lowbrow.
Yeah, but for me, I don't approach it from the Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, for me, is a symptom of what's happened to the monarchy as an institution. I think that Meghan is the result of many, many failures from the monarchy, the royal household, to uphold the protocols and laws. Had they had, and this is one of my biggest criticisms to my queen, is that had she followed, and Parliament failing to uphold them, because there were you know that they got rid of the Marriage Act, which actually served as a deterrent for people. You know, you had to be, the person that you were marrying, if you were a royal, had to be morally and, you know, ethically above reproach, because once they enter, they enter a position of incredible privilege. Yes, there are responsibilities and rules like anything in life. I'm pretty sure that we all have worked in business, and the higher the post that you work, a CEO has a lot of privileges, but a lot of restrictions, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of no's that they can do. That's part of everyday life in any job that you have. And the higher the job, the less things you can do, because you have more responsibilities, because you represent more people. Mm-hmm. So my approach to the Meghan Markle is how did the monarchy end up with an individual like Meghan Markle? And they are still allowing, and this is one of my videos, I say, there have to be a redrafting of the 1689 Bill of Rights, that we need to remodify the laws and the rules for what the monarch can do. There has to be a rule book in writing, because an individual like Meghan gets away with, oh, well, it's not in writing, but it has been the norm. There has been the protocol. They got rid of it was in writing. It was a law that somebody from the Home Office had to be present when a royal baby was born, who is in the succession line. And so for me, it has been like the breakdown of the royal family, basically, that allows an individual like Meghan Markle to enter so quickly.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think one of the really substantial qualities of your videos, Paula, is you really, right, Patricia, she really gets into the nitty-gritty of these legalities. And I was always curious, I know that you have a diplomatic or legal background. Like, is this what has made you so well versed in that?
Well, actually, I have OCD and I'm HD. So once something bothers me, I'm like a dog with a bone. I can't let go, because I don't understand. And this is where I go. This is what my main beef is. The laws are there. The protocols are there. You know, the right thing for the Queen to have done with Prince Charles when he started doing the things that he did with Camilla was to tell him, all right, buddy, if you want to be with Camilla, because this is one of the things that people don't understand. He's always had choices. It's just that the choices are not pleasant. but they've always had choices. Nobody's putting a gun to their heads. So had the Queen done what was done to the Duke of Windsor with this American divorcee that he married, was if you want to be king, you have to stop seeing this woman. But if you want to, or at all, but he said, no, I want to marry her, then you have to abdicate. So that choice was there for Prince Charles. And what happens is people are trying to portray different stories, and the Queen was never firm with that. Her biggest Achilles heel has been her children, allowing when the Duchess of York was selling access to Prince Andrew for £500,000, and there was not even a police investigation, and she was allowed to continue using the title, merch with the title. To me, I have been wondering, where does this come from? So what I did is I have friends, I lived in the UK for 6 years with my kid, and I had people. I was very fortunate to meet people of all walks of life, and who worked for the royal family. One of my friends is a lord in the House of Lords. So I said to him, why doesn't the Queen simply remove his titles? And then he goes, because I go to YouTubers, and I would see YouTubers who present themselves as knowing it all. Oh, it's impossible. Parliament has to do it. It's impossible. It's a dangerous precedent. And then my friend, who's the Lord, he said, "It's BS, Paula. The Queen." So I said, so how can I get this in writing? So he actually drafted a letter for me to send to Parliament. And I sent it to Parliament, and I got an answer back from Parliament in writing from the MP saying, when it comes to royal titles, which is true, the Queen has absolute prerogative. And I remember I wrote a second letter. My friend, also the Lord, wrote it for me, because I said, how about the Act of Peerage of 1963? And they responded, the Act of Peerage only applies for nobility, not royalty. And then they even went as far as putting, royalty does not sit in the House of Lords, which is absolutely true. A royal duke does not have a seat in the House of Lords. Because they're royalty, right? So I kept getting those things, and I kept asking. I have my friend is a very good friend, and he's a senior lord in the House of Lords. But then, I kept getting confused, because then I would see these YouTubers, and then he would refer me to, there's something now called felony treason, which is when a royal or a member of the armed forces, senior members, basically doubts the capacity of the head of state, or puts in doubt the capacity of the head of state, or does anything to hamper the good functioning of the monarchy. And the monarchy can only, the only currency the monarchy has is its reputation. Nobody wants to deal with a crooked institution, especially the monarchy. So for me, it was like, I've been asking my friends, I got to tell you, I'm not an expert, but once I start to learn, and I'm very fortunate that he's Lord of the House of Lords, and he goes, you should look at this. So and I read, and I get angrier and more disappointed the more I read, you know what I mean? Because it's a complete breakdown of rules and protocols from the top, because the Queen has absolute control over the titles and the rules. She can even limit. Harry, you can only use the royal titles for royal engagements. Since they're no longer part of the royal family, they won't be able to use them anywhere. You know what I mean? But it is, and I got 3 letters. And funny enough, I published that, and I tell people I have the letters, and they still telling me, no, so-and-so said that it's Parliament. And people say, you just want Harry to be stripped of the titles because he's unpopular. Absolutely not. It's a dangerous precedent to remove a title because somebody's unpopular. Absolutely not. It's not about Harry being unpopular. It's about the fact that he deserted the country because he did that. He lied to obtain titles, which is fraud. He quit the royal family. He slandered the royal family, and he committed felony treason when he went in Oprah and said that the Queen is incapacitated because it's not her, the colonel-in-chief who manages, who rules. He basically said that on Oprah, that the Queen doesn't do anything because he can. So that's felony treason. So for me, it's not about removing the things because he's unpopular. I couldn't care less, But because it's not because of whether he's unpopular, it's because of his actions. And now we have Meghan cold calling senators, identifying herself as the Duchess of Sussex. So when she calls, she's not calling as Meghan Markle, Rachel Meghan Markle, or even if she wants to use this part of the title, say, my name is Meghan Sussex, you know? And if she really wants to be proper and just use her husband's last name, it would be, I am Meghan Mountbatten Windsor, just like her children's name. But when she calls using a title, she's calling on behalf of the British monarchy.
The British
Well,
monarchy.
I mean, everything that you just said to me is just so incredibly fascinating that it's even possible to be expressed freely and to be found on a platform like YouTube. Like, that's one thing that I think, I guess we're all just taking for granted, because if this happened 50 years ago, where would we have heard the, you know, the vox populi, you know, like the people's voice about this? And so that's, I think that's really incredible that we're just able to find how I found you guys, you know, like just being able to hear these opinions, and it's like so in depth in ways that I would never find an official newspaper article. You know, I read the Telegraph from the UK, I read the New York Times, and I would never hear something as just pulsingly passionate and in depth as everything that you just expressed, you know. And so, Rod, like you're probably not as familiar about the subject as me and as a viewer. Like, what is your perception so far from what Patricia and Paula has shared?
I think I mean, it's fascinating to it's like a side that I've never read or heard before, and it's super interesting to see this other side with this level of detail.
And it's like a conversation, right? It's like a conversation. You're not actually partaking it, but you feel like you are by watching these videos. And you know, Patricia and Paula are just like you guys are a handful of. It's become sort of this YouTube creators group, right? Talking about this subject, and you guys, I'm sure, have been in touch with another. Because Paula, I know that you were mentioning that there's so-and-so and this other person, and what are the conversations like with these other creators? Like Patricia, do you talk to body language guy? Like, what were the people that
Well, I get a lot of people telling me that I should reach out to other YouTubers. A lot of people love my interaction with Paula, and they're like, wow, if you meet with Paula, meet with so-and-so, meet with so-and-so. Like, wow, this is becoming a lot. I haven't reached out to only person I reached out to was Danger Zone and Murky Meg in the very beginning of my channel to get support, because I was little like, what do I do, you know? But I'm thinking about doing that. I think we should talk as influencers around this subject, and we should make it more communication between us all, because we all provide different perspectives, and we need to rally behind each other, because there is this, like what you were talking about today, Paula, this cancel culture, and we need to stick together. We need to not turn on each other, because we have a common goal, and we need to be strong together to fight what is happening with this, you know, the monarchy, this woman in the monarchy. So, I mean, I'm open to doing it. I don't know if they would be. It'd be interesting to see.
I don't even know how to contact the body language guy. I was actually talking to him on Twitter a lot.
Oh, were you?
But yeah, oh yeah. But I started sending him messages because I really like him, and he's Latino. You know, I gotta say something here. I am so happy Meghan is not Latina, because then we would be getting another crazy Latina going on there, because you know her roles or her one-liners when she appeared and whatever, she was always cast as Latina. You know, so I'm so no shade to you, Pat, but I'm so glad she's not Latina, because oh my God, the stereotype.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Well, you know, with all this, like so much, Patricia, you were saying how a lot of people are reaching out to you via email, and now that you have, how many, you've got like a good amount. Was it an overnight thing for you too, as it was with Paula? Like what happened? with?
Mine was different. I reached out, actually, I just started my channel and I was just waiting, you know, to see what anyone engaged with my channel. But then I reached out to Murky Meg for a shout out. And she loved what I did. And so she gave me a shout out. I remember I left to go somewhere after I sent that email and she had done it. And then I came back and I had all these people following me or had watched my videos like, oh my goodness, like, why are these people commenting and where they come from? I was like, oh, that's right. I sent an email to Murky Meg. And she was the reason literally why I got the traction that I got. And yeah, it's been really great. And I haven't spoken to her. She gets really busy. I tried emailing her again, but it's hard because she gets a lot of emails.
Yeah, again, the subject has gained so much momentum. But like these people who reach out to you, you know, we're really happy that you responded. But if you could just share with us, like what has been the pain points now that you have this established channel, right? Like with YouTube, what has been the pain points for you in terms of just managing the fact that you have this channel, you know, the emails that you're getting from people, you were sharing with us before, and if you could just sort of share again what these pain points were, which, you know, we found just really.
What do you mean in like keeping it going or managing it all?
So you were getting these emails with opportunities and you were just not able to filter. You just didn't know.
Yes, because Paula, you probably know about this too, I'm sure. We get a lot of emails from people reaching out that want to do things and partner with us. And you can read like from what they're saying, what, you for real? No, like, no, I'm not going to partner with you. Or, you know, they give you these directions on things to do and like all this work to do. And then like, how much do you want? I mean, it's like so much information from different people that you don't know. I can't even begin to try to filter that because they're just some random person sending me an email, and it could be a troll. It could be, you know, I had someone do that to me, and that's when I was like, They were literally trying to tell me that they wanted to partner or do something with me, and then they ended up tried to send me a virus or something, you know, and it was. And I'm bombarded with them. And now, because I know anyone can send an email, they're not vetted. They come to me just from knowing my email. I am not even paying attention to that anymore, really, to be honest. If you are a legitimate person, you know the third-party channels or the ways to get in touch with somebody. Because as an actor, you can't just come and say, I want to offer you a job with CBS Studios. No, you if you're working really with CBS, you know how that works. And a lot of people think that they can just randomly contact you and think that we're just gonna, you know, reach out to them. And I know that this platform now is a lot like the acting world. People have to be vetted. They have to be legit. Yeah. And if you're just randomly emailing me, then you're not legit in that you need to come through a third party to really be vetted, essentially.
Yeah, and Paula, you mentioned about how like you wish these people who are commenting, they weren't exactly positively commenting on your videos, but you wish that they could just pay for whatever they want to.
Well, the thing that I said about that is like, the reason why I decided to monetize the channel and the money that is raised, I use it for my charity. I have a charity, well, not a charity, yeah, it's a school and a clinic, you know, so I don't know if I have those, you know, that are free, and I do it, you know, from where my farm is. So I started the school, I remember it's from the 1st to 6th grade, and I started it, and I had like just the kids in the farm, and that was the years. And now I have over the last class up to 6th grade, it's 654 kids. So, and then I had the clinic, and I managed to get the clinic going because, of course, it's a very rural area. And there's, in a third world country to begin with, it's very poor. So I started to have, I said, I'm going to have a little clinic here, just a health center to have, people come. And I had the doctors, who are friends of mine, and they're donated their time. And then they managed to help me donate medication. So I actually had to register the clinic, because you have to report that there's a clinic and people are being looked at. And then I started just doing it. And now the last time I had over, and it's for the elderly. I mean, I do mostly children and elderly because the elderly really tug at me. So and it's we're servicing over 3,000, about 3,200 people, and we started with like 5 or 6. So so I decided, if they're gonna be hating me, I'm gonna monetize the channel. So I think it was Pat. Who was it? I think it was you, Pat, who were teaching me how to do it. Like how to get that. And then I was teaching Trevor, another YouTuber, because he didn't even know. So yeah. So if they're gonna be hating on me, at least they should pay something, and then that money is not very much at all. But I use it for the clinic and for the school.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this is where, when we talked before, right? So I was explaining how like the Truly app could work, and what it facilitates. And it's funny that you had brought that up, because I didn't even broach upon it just yet. But when you brought that up, yeah, I mean, this is the situation where if you, let's say, switched off the comments on your YouTube and you told people, listen, if you just want to reach out to me, go here, and it's your Truly link. The haters can pay you $20 to
hate you. Yeah.
If they're gonna hate on me, you might as well pay. No, I gotta tell you, I loved your idea, because sometimes, because a lot of my fans, they send me emails, and they send me so many that were so much hatred email and I'm dyslexic. So to begin with, I think twice about reading emails. And when you open your email, it's like, you have this bunch of emails, and then when you start reading it, and I remember that they would put loving you, or this is not a hate mail, and then I opened the email, it's like, we hate you, and I'm like, oh bitch. I'm like, so what I said is like, so I thought, but I had really a lot of fans who wrote to me, and they would tell me like all kinds of things, can you answer back? And even though I wished, I have a job, I have a farm to run, and not only that, like it's a different time difference. So and I can't ride the horse right now, because usually I go on my horses in the mornings, and I work at the farm. So right now I have one of my employees, I don't know how you say it in English, capataz, the foreman. And he goes on the horse, and he goes around with the phone showing me this, but it's a whole day thing. So I haven't, and then I have to look up the clinic and the school, secure the funding, because we need money for these people and the kids and stuff like that. So it's like Patricia, it's a full-time, I have a full-time job. And, and I didn't start this to do that. I just wanted to talk to somebody, because I thought I was going crazy. But now that it's here, I feel some sort of responsibility to engage with people who are actually really asking me questions, and they send me material, and did you see this and this and that? And I feel like and I write, which is good, because it makes my brain work, and it's good, but at the same time, it gets me more tired, because I really have to think about what I write, because it's hard for me to write. So this medium of Truly humanizes the response. That's what I think. It's humanizing, and it's like, it's humanizing the response. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it's so nice to get like a 20-second shout out. Yeah, it's this and that. It for me, it's humanizing it, instead of somebody writing an email or whatever. It's a direct, humanizing way to engage with people who really want to hear from you. And if you're a nasty piece of crap trying to bully me, you're gonna pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
And Patricia, like in terms of those emails, I mean, Rod, we talked about this, because Patricia had mentioned this before, that this is also something that you could basically tell people to reach out on you on Truly for any opportunities. And if they're really serious, you would know, because they would be paying you whatever price that you had set for answering. And that would really make it easy for you, because you could also be missing opportunities, right? The emails that look like it's just another spam, could be a genuine email from me, for example, right? So that's how we also see the app helping creators like both of you. So yeah, so we're really excited to, we're hoping that your followers are ready to go to be interacting with you on the app when it launches. Rod, I know you want to add.
I was gonna say, like someone else that we were talking with said that they're gonna add the set their email to vacation mode, and on the auto reply, just put the Truly link there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So they don't have to
even know
manage
what
the
that means.
email.
You're gonna have to explain that to me separately because I don't even know what it is.
It's simple. Someone sends you an email and then they get an automatic reply saying like, oh, here is the Truly link. If you want to reach out, if you want to contact me, like just follow this link.
That's excellent.
That's a good idea.
And then they see your Truly profile, and if they really want to disturb you, you know, they have to pay you. Like they basically.
I gotta tell you something too. I have been, one of the things that I'm very, very surprised about is censorship. I have been blown away because in my channel, even on Twitter, I don't, if you really look at it, I am not into gossip. I don't even like to report on things or talk about things just for gossip's sake. For me, it's like, listen, I want my monarchy to be the best in the world. You know, I want to have the morals the way it was, that you looked. I mean, just to give you an idea, look, the Duke and Duchess of York, the former Duke and Duchess of York. Do you know who they were? It was the former king, the Queen's father, and the Queen mother. I mean, and when you look at those absolute monuments, and then you have Prince Andrew and Fergie. I mean, that's how low it has fallen. You know, when you have these people with such morals that people looked up to them, beautifully dressed, properly dressed, you felt proud. That's the Duke of York, that my king, you know, and the Queen Mother was the Duchess of York at some point, you know what I mean? And now we have Andrew and Fergie. I mean, so for me, the censorship, I don't even say terrible things, and I get censored.
You get censored.
You know, it's terrible. So this is another medium that there's no censorship, that people can ask the questions and you answer it without any fear, really. You know what I mean? Because even YouTube, I get emails from YouTube. You know, even the title that I put, if you notice, sometimes I keep changing the titles because I keep getting emails from YouTube. Oh, that people have complained about the title, and it doesn't even have any swear words or anything.
Wow, some of your titles got censored.
Yeah, this is why I keep changing them. I don't know if you notice, sometimes I put this and then I get an email. YouTube, what's it called? The guidance. I get a bunch of things, that guidance things. And then I go and then said, you should modify or it will be taken down. So this is why I immediately go and I change it. I don't know if you've seen, even especially the latest video I posted today. I changed the title 5 times until it was okay by YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And that's the thing, right? Like your answers on Truly are, they're personal answers. It's one-on-one. Everything is one-on-one. So whatever questions that your followers are asking you, you're answering them like per person. And that's also the conversation that we were talking about before, Patricia, where like with Patricia, where actually even creators can be asking each other questions on Truly. That's one-on-one. It's basically not in this forum where you have to worry about whatever you're saying. You know?
Yeah, I think it's good.
I don't know about you, Pat, but for me, it has been a very, you know, I never thought I'd be in a platform or in any platform where I would have to worry about censorship.
Yeah, I like the idea of being able to have that freedom to put things up, because I've had to do that as well. I remember I had to change, this was in the very beginning, you know, change a few things around my descriptions, because I like to write like a lot in my descriptions. But also what you were saying about being able to get content from other YouTubers, like to have that interaction with them across this channel would be really great, because you're a part of a community and it's organized and it's structured, and you know, we are collaborating in a way that's bringing value to a lot of people. And I think having a third party like what Truly is doing is, we're a part of this community through Truly to be able to reach to other people and to talk and exchange ideas and to help build our platforms in a way that I think is legitimate. We're legitimizing ourselves with something like this. And it's just not it's not random. You know, we're very much more strategic in how we're doing things. We're growing, we're coming so much better in our facilitation of things, you know. And I know for me, as you know, somebody who's been in the world of working with agents all the time, it just makes your life easier. You know, you have somebody else doing some of the heavy lifting for you, you know, and that's what this app would do, I think.
Fantastic.
And I love it. I love, I gotta tell you, I love the idea that because sometimes I've been in that position that for example, I was sending to the body language guy because I want him to do a body language of when Harry and Meghan went to the red carpet, to the gala, and they walked in and they were at that where Harry is shaking the hands, and how she just wants to keep going and he lets go of her and she tries to pull him and he pushes her away and he continues talking to her. You know, how everybody on the reception line were only looking at him. You know what I mean? It's like, we just want to talk to the prince, the real deal, you know? And she's just standing there, like smiling. And she still says, shall we, trying to pull him. And then he's like, well, no, we can't. You know what I mean? So I wrote to him. So for me, sometimes I want to ask him to do that, but I have to write it because I don't have his phone yet. So if you have it, you know, let me know. Because we used to write to each other a lot on Twitter, but I don't have his
We'll
email.
get him. Yeah, we'll hopefully be able to connect with him as well.
But it's a good thing because I wish to do that with him. You know what I mean? So it's great that even I can, if I'm on Truly, I can say, hey, you know, Jesus, his name is Jesus. Hey, Jesus. You know, so it's a good thing for me too. I don't have to write it. I can just ask it.
Yeah, we're gonna tag him on this video when we post it. Ladies, you've been so wonderful. Thank you so much for just making the time for this, and hopefully your followers, each of your respective followers, also appreciate the conversation we had today. Yeah, so we're just so grateful, and we're really excited to build momentum for when the app is available. I sent Paula the profile. Patricia's is ready today. So you know, like even like we're really in this tinkering, like we're making this thing. You know, we're building this thing. It's very real. It's very exciting for us behind the scenes, and we just feel like you guys are on board with us. So we're just so grateful to feel like there's this community of YouTube creators who are just on board with us with this launch. You know, Rob, if you want to add on anything I might have missed.
No, thank you so much. Like this, I think this has been fantastic. Like, thank you for taking the time.
This was really, really meaningful for us. We really appreciate it, and we hope that all your followers enjoyed everything that we shared here. And we'll be doing more interviews with other creators under different categories, but we're just, you guys we love you so much because this is the first interview we've done. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Guys,
Thank you. Bye.